Hello, Internet, and welcome back to Space Engineers. So, last time, well, what did we do last time? That. That's what we did last time. We finished kind of laying out and preparing our little hangar hole in the side of the mountain. So, we have that to deal with. In between episodes, I went to the iron mine over there and gathered some iron, unloaded it. If we hop our way down into the goopy soil. Uh, is it all? Guess it's all in the other thing. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. It's processed a lot of it. So we have 22,000 kilograms of iron, which is pretty alright. And quickly gaining more. We also got some nickel, because apparently the route I had chosen to get into the iron led straight through a deposit of nickel, so yeah, here we are. Yeah. We also have a bunch of ice, which is in the wrong place, but we'll deal with that later. Yeah. So, today... Oh, I also... doing real good. So, I also queued up, and it looks like built 2,000 steel plate. We'll probably want more. Uh... That's another 1,000. So, steel plate being made. What we want to do, my plan at least, is to finish welding that. But to do that, I have an idea. So in the past, for any sort of heavy industrial work, we have used a buzzy drone, the sort of style that I developed initially to, I think it was to grind down the scrap metal when it was still actual scrap metal. Uh, so, yeah, we've got drone idea. I'm going to make a modified version. It's going to be nothing like the buzzy drones. It's probably going to be manned, but I still like the name, so it's going to be a buzzy. Specifically designed for welding up the floor up there. So let's get designing. First step. Little cockeyed, but that'll do. And they're fine up there. So we'll build our little pylon so that we're way off the ground. And what do we... So we'll need one of those. We can get rid of that. We'll need cargo. We're going to use a hinge. That'll be exciting. Then we'll need that. Okay, so I'm also going to need some... That's the wrong button. Some of those, just to place them. Okay. So we can pop that bad boy like that. We will use one of these here, so I can mount the connector to it. Then, hinge there. And welder there. So my genius idea here, this welder on the hinge means that I'll be able to tilt it down and face downward so I can hover over the floor and weld it. I won't have to nose down to get the welder to the floor. But when I'm doing this outside, I can tilt it up. I could even tilt it above myself to weld below. That way the ship doesn't have to have a bunch of directional thrust. Blech, can't speak. Doesn't need a bunch of directional thrust to stay, in the air at all the different angles it needs to be. It can just float level. I can angle my welder wherever I need it to go, and then it works. So, so that's the base of it. Guess we can... I don't need one of those. We'll need one of those for the connector. Want some batteries, some that. And instead of making this a drone, I think I am going to make it into a piloted vehicle. Just seems to be a better option. So... Maybe like this will work well. And then I can have one of these on each side. Oh, we've gone limp. Well, we'll deal with that later. Okay, so I'll have one of those on each side for lift. Then we can have thruster there and there. Thruster there and there. Then there and there. Oh, and that leaves room for one of these. I can access the port from the back, which could be handy. Yeah, I think that should work. Oh, and that. Okay. I think that'll work all right. Now, we need lots of steel. Just take a bunch of that. Dump that, and we also need some hydrogen from here. Okay. Oh, that's the, miner, I guess. There we go. Okay. And bunch of steel. So I guess I'll just kind of fast forward through all this and you'll see it when it's done. So, yeah, get ready for that stuff. we have a ship. Sort of. Looks like a ship. Seems to have all the things that ships have. I do have a gyroscope. I do have thrusters. Got a cockpit. Feels like a ship to me. Okay. So I guess real quick, before we do our maiden test flight, let's set up our stuff. So, have that, toggle the block on and off. We want that to be able to switch lock so we can connect to refill our cargo. And then this. I think how I'll do it, so I'll have decrease velocity, increase velocity, and then reset velocity. So, what this should allow us to do, and I should be able to demonstrate it here. So, actually, is our hinge. We'll make that a group too. So you will have hinge lock on off. And I guess while we're here, we should have that toggle on off to actually be able to weld. That should be alright. Yeah, so turn off our hinge lock. Oh, it is backwards, but you can see I have a bit of control. So if I want it to go up, I press that. And it goes up to its full extent. If I want to go down, I do that. And if I want to stop moving, I press the reset. And it just goes back to 0 and stops moving. So I can do it at whatever angle best suits me. And if I do, like by accident, where I just make it go super fast, quick and easy to revert it. That looks about straight. Then I can do the hinge lock to make sure I don't accidentally hit it and move it, you know, once I get it into position. So, okay. Oh, actually, I did think of one more thing, or a couple things I'll need. It should just take those. I want... Where are they? There. Lights. Do them in the orange. Where best? Maybe like right here. Right here. The reason I'm using these interior lights instead of like spotlights, I want these to essentially just cast an area of light around me so that as I'm welding, I can just generally see what's right around me. I don't really need to see much further. Oh, actually, hold on. Genius idea. So, yeah. So I don't need to see much further around me. But what I can do, if we put them on either side of the welder, they're always around the welder, so I can always see what I'm welding, which is the important part. Because I don't really care. If I'm welding in front of me, I don't really care behind me as much. Though... Maybe we'll have just a general situational awareness light back there for good measure. Okay. So that seems to be good. Hop in the seat. Thrusters are on. Okay. Moment of truth. I can't do that. I'm not in creative. Okay, moment of truth. Well, it is sinking. Though now it seems to have stopped sinking. Does it generally... Okay, now it's sinking again. So it definitely has enough power to lift itself. I think what I'm dealing with here And that's a bummer, because I thought this was a fixed issue. So, because the welder is on a subgrid, I think what it is my ship is not calculating correctly the amount of thrust it needs to apply to keep us hovering. So, I think that makes sense. The thruster, how the game calculates for the inertial dampeners, is it calculates the mass of the ship and then applies a force to stop any movement to counteract any force acting on the ship. But because of the subgrid, the main grid, basically the thrusters on the main grid don't calculate any force applied to this. In fact, I can fly under it. I can sort of maybe push it around. But, yeah, they don't counteract the force being applied by gravity to the welder. And so, we do slowly sink to the ground. Which is not great if I want to use this for welding the floor. Because ideally, I could just sit there welding the floor with this kind of in position. Whoa. And I'd just hover. I wouldn't have to worry about, falling to my doom. No, it seems like I can sort of... Okay, that's odd. So if I'm just stationary and up thrust, then it calculates it. So now it's counteracting. But as soon as I try to move any other direction, it stops. I wonder if that is that's probably a known bug with however they've chosen to fix it. Though the drop is pretty slow. We'll have to see how bad it is when the welder's full of material, I guess. But for now, maybe I should build a connector somewhere on this. Let's go ahead and swing that back up out of the way and land. Alright. I guess we can do our lights. So we want max radius, not max intensity, probably max offset. That should give us the most amount of area to be able to see. We'll find that out. And just for fun, name them weldy lights. I'll go ahead and name the grid weldy Mark 1. Possibly subject to future change. So turn that off. I kind of want to leave the dumping thing there. Maybe I just kind of stick a tube off the side. We do like this. This should give me plenty of room. Yeah. Okay, and then produce the rest. Put them all together so it's easy. I guess it doesn't really matter, but it makes it look nicer in my head. Yeah. So once that's there, we can plug this up, get the batteries charged up a bit, and then we'll fill it up with steel and see if it still flies. Okay. This thing does have a lot of get up and go when it is empty. We'll have to be cautious of that. But we can lock, I guess. Capitals, because we're civilized. And go ahead and put those on the hotbar so I can quickly recharge them. Or as quick as is possible. Okay. Well, that's good. Add our lights, because we don't need to be wasting power on light right now. Okay. So, what to do in the meantime? I guess we could go up and just kind of take a scout around. So, I still need to fill this in or cover it over. I actually don't need this anymore here. I'll just take that back. Yeah. So we need to run our doors. That can wait a bit though, I think, because frankly the doors are stupid expensive. I'd like to at least get the floor done. So, once we're in here, it'll be good too, because I can angle my welders up. I can do the floor, then angle up, get the columns, without having to, again, twist myself all around. So yeah, that should be good. I guess one thing I'll have to figure out, my sort of idea was to have, maybe off this, in this area here, essentially have a, carve out into the mountain a bit, have a stone wall, and then that's where the living quarters and whatnot are. And maybe kind of from there snake them in a bit. I think this area being metal and the rest being stone will look good. But we can kind of, once we're in there, we could go back further into the hill. Or maybe up. Actually, did I have an idea? Oh, there's a ton of room to go further into the hillside, I gotta say. So that should be fine. That can be where we put the main sort of living and production areas. What is it like? It's pretty rocky up here. And that's just a real promontory point. It could be kind of neat. It would be a real pain. But it could be neat to sort of, from the area of our base, drill straight up and try and kind of hit out of like this type of area. To have a big tower so we can sort of have a upper observation point. It'll be, oh my god, it's miles down. That would 100% have to be drilled with a piston, or with a series of piston and drill some things. And then some sort of, I guess, some sort of super elevator of pistons. That could be kind of neat. That could be the gimmick feature of this place, aside from being inside of a mountain. Yeah, that could work. And actually, that could be nice because it would give us another area to put wind turbines. Because right now, we could probably, if I got rid of that one, I could have two down here that probably wouldn't interfere with each other. But that's about all the room I have. And even though you can technically put them underground, they will perfectly work in a cave, the wind turbines. It just kind of seems wrong. So, you know, I don't think I will be doing that. Though maybe if I get desperate, I might be able to work it out as some sort of, like, make it look like some sort of fancy future generator. And that could be alright. Still don't know. I mean, I have still a bunch of uranium from the original scrap metal, because you go through it real slow. But I still don't know. I've not found any other. I don't know if you can find it on the alien planet. So this seems like the type of place for it, but you never know. You definitely can find it in space, but our space mining adventures, I mean, you saw how that went. So, yeah. Yes. Ooh, down we go. We could... Ooh. The base battery is quite low now. Fully depleted in 6 minutes. How fast on these batteries? Fully recharged in 7. Alright. So we've more or less drained our supply of power. Probably that plus all the refining and assembling we were doing. Though I guess, I mean, once we're kind of recharged on this whole base just kind of needs to be able to, it just needs enough power to be able to pipe steel plate up into there, because we produced a bunch of it, so that'll hopefully get us most of the way done before we have to build anymore. So that should give the battery time to charge a bit. Could maybe add a tower and make a couple wind turbines. What does a wind turbine take? Where are you, wind turbines? There you are. I don't have all those bits. I could make them. We'll just go with this for now and see what happens. So, guess I'll come back if something, either when that's done or if something interesting happens. There's a ship up there. That, I believe, is what the scrap metal was originally. One of those. Does make me wonder. I mean, we didn't really have much success with the whole piracy thing. And from experience, those things are not lightly armed. But I don't know. I still feel like there's a way, some way, that I could be successful at pirating. If I find the right ship and have the right ship of my own, I think I could do it. The biggest thing is really, at this point, there's not much point to doing it. Maybe if I start running low on materials and don't feel like mining, but because I have an actual ore vein right over there that's nice and easy, really doesn't seem all that valuable. Considering the amount of stuff that I'm surely going to lose by trying. I don't know. Maybe if the muse hits me and I see one that doesn't look too horrible, I could try and jump up there and just go at it on my backpack and see what happens. Could be entertaining at the very least. Whoop. There we go. Okay. 3 minutes, 3 minutes. 44 seconds. Before the base battery runs down, I think I'm going to switch off recharge. We should have I won't see until I take off, but we should have enough for a little bit, at least for a test. So let's go ahead. First I will fall. Dump all of my personal stuff. Could use some more hydrogen, but I shouldn't need it. Knock on wood. Let's go ahead and fill her up. Okay. So, steel plate in there. In the connector. And into the welder. Ooh. That's interesting. The welder has gone limp. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, it's not the most happy thing in the world right now. I can still lock it in place. So that's good to know. If I fill up the welder, it will not go up. So don't have it full if I want to weld things above me. I guess. Let's see what happens when I disconnect. Hopefully I don't fall off. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Ooh. We're definitely leaning forward, but I think, yeah, I do have lift. Oh, I can fall though as well. Dang. That was something I was afraid of. Because it's not calculating the welder to do the inertial dampening on it. Filling the welder means that it is, well, heavier. But I do have, so when boosting up, I have 20 minutes. I think I have enough. Let's angle her down. See if we can start some welding. Okay, welders are on, lights are on. We'll have to just kind of pogo ourselves around up here, I think. Oh, one thing I didn't take into account was my height. Because this is actually a pretty tall creation. No. Seems to be doing alright. It is. So because I'm landing on the welding tips, it is kind of bouncing me around a bit. It's not the easiest thing in the world to fly, actually. You sort of had... I was joking about it. You do sort of have to hop it around like a pogo stick. Ooh, come on. Come on, buddy. Okay. So... it might work a little better if I don't fill the welder. Though, so I'm at the mouth. There's not a ton of room in there, especially under the girders. But I should still fit. And doing these little hops, I should still be able to bounce around in there. So this may work out. Oh. It is a little... I don't know what it is, but I'm getting very disoriented trying to, I think it's because I'm paying a lot of attention to where the welder is. So my brain is sort of viewing that as the front of the ship. So whenever I try and adjust myself, see this, I don't know. It's hard to describe, but I'm having struggles. Well, we're lighter now. I can tell we aren't falling as quick. This will also be a good judge of kind of how much I can weld on a load. Because this floor area out here isn't actually all that huge. Alright. Well, that's some stuff. We've still got a good bit of steel on board. I think I'm going to try and do the sort of inner base and hope I don't whack myself too much. Actually, no, we'll save. Or I guess what we could do now that we're lighter and should be able to move the drills. Oh, that was bad. That was the control for the thrusters. I don't want to hit that. I want to hit this. Put my drill to the sky. And now, this may actually be easier in first person. Ah, look at that. That welds like a dream. Except for I can't really judge depth. But that's more on me. Oh, look at that. Now it does also... I can feel a little bit of that same disorientation. Because in my head, straightforward of the welders is straightforward. I think that's what it is. I'm having trouble figuring out where forward is of the ship. Oh, that was me bashing my head against the metal. I'm struggling to tell where's forward on the ship because I'm paying attention to the tip of the welder and it is angled 45 degrees up. But, ow. Not when it's empty. It's real easy to bash my head. Okay, well that worked out pretty well. Let's see if we can get another load and we'll kind of monitor power. So we look to be at around half on the batteries. Or at least under 2/3. Or 3/4? 3/4 is how it works. With 4 of them. Is my... Yeah, so my welder is locked at the moment. I should be able to load the thing up, and I'm going to need a lot more steel. Okay. Can I do it in like in thousands? No. Maybe... No. Alright, I'll just click it many hundreds of times. That should be 6,000 plate being produced. I have no idea. Actually, it's doing all that production off of the wind turbine alone, it seems. The batteries seem to be doing alright. So that's good. Yeah, I guess we'll just let it produce. That's a fun... That's a good screenshot, actually. So that might be where I end it for today. It's going to be a while producing and whatnot, and I'll probably do the actual floor welding in a time lapse before I start the next episode, just to kind of get it out of the way. So, yeah, thank you so much for watching. Feel free to check out any of the other stuff I have done. Until next week, bye-bye.